Hello, I'm Tricia Young of TLE Consulting Group, and I'm also the Chief Program Facilitator of our Pre-Accelerator program for entrepreneurs that we're doing in partnership with the Roxburgh Innovation Center. Our Pre-Accelerator program is actually a 12-week entrepreneurial program where entrepreneurs dig deep, do market research from which they develop solid business models indicating how they plan to sustain their ventures. Kevin Wyant is RIC's Executive Director.
I'm very happy to be working with Trish on the TLE RIC Pre-Accelerator program to help people start their ideas, curate the ideas, sometimes change the ideas through the process so they can actually start the company faster and grow it faster.
I'm here at the site of the Roxburgh Innovation Center for the kickoff of our second iteration of that program. Looking forward to meeting the cohort, of course, and seeing how well they hold up against all of the pressure, as it is a rigorous program. Now that we've heard from Kevin, let's meet the cohort.
My name is Vid Wilkinson. My artist name is Vid the Visionary. My business is Exceptional Minds Enterprises, which is an event planning agency. Essentially, we create opportunity for amateur hip-hop artists and other performers to have a platform for them to perform.
My name is Charlene Perko, and we've created Boston Tutu Dolls. It is a company where we create personalized, custom-made gifts.
So my name is Nakia Londi, and I am the CEO and co-founder of Intriguing Hair. We are a virgin hair extensions company, and we also have a hair extension bar.
Okay, so you've seen the first three entrepreneurs. Now let's look at the next three ventures: a Honduran cuisine restaurant, a child activity space, and a platform for comics.
My name is Eunice Johnson. I'm trying to create a business. It's called Eunice's Cuisine Restaurant. The restaurant will provide food from my country, which is Honduras, based on Caribbean, African, and Latino cuisine.
My name is Maria McKnight. I live in Dorchester, Massachusetts, and my idea for an indoor play space for creative children will be called Two Birds, One Stone. The customers will be parents, most definitely parents, single mothers, married women, fathers, daycare providers, people that watch young children, have young children from ages of 3 to 12, and they're looking for an indoor place to bring them inclement weathers or nice days, or even to host birthday parties.
My name is Awet Tayame, and the business is thebornfunny.com. I'm a stand-up comic, and I've done that for many years, since my Emerson years, actually. I took my first comedy class at Emerson, and then did an internship program out in LA, and that's where I started stand-up comedy, and that's basically how the idea to create this business came about.
Now the entrepreneurs are venturing off into Module 1, which involves market research. It includes looking at the competitive landscape, the market, understanding the demographics of the market, the customer segments that are currently in the space, so that they can ascertain exactly how they want to position themselves for growth. So, what is market research? Well, first and foremost, it is gathering, recording, and analyzing information about your market. And your market is essentially the field that you want to do business in. For those of you who are operating in the space already, it is essentially the space that you do business in, right? How many of you understand what industry you're operating in now? Good, that's a good thing. If you don't, that's fine.
I don't know the name.
Not to worry. Part of the process of market research is ascertaining that. Because your assignments will be around market research now moving forward, to be able to help you develop all the insights and to gather all the information that you're going to need to be able to make an informed judgment as to how you want to position yourself in the marketplace. From a strategy standpoint, you're going to be surveying, you know. You'll have some industry reports to pull, yes, just so that you have an understanding as to the market that you're in, you know, the industry, how things operate at a higher level. But at this point, you're going to be surveying, a lot of surveying and interviewing people that you believe from whatever research you've already done and your own observations to be people that would most likely be interested in your offering. So our cohort is beginning to understand the scope of work around market research, and in particular, just how intricate surveying can really be.
I didn't even know what questions to ask. You know what I mean? I just came up with like, I was like, I guess this, and that, you know. And then by asking those questions to like 4 or 5 people and having Gio ask questions, we realized like, oh, we need to ask them A, B, and C, not da-da-da-da-da, and like, and then so like this is like the 3rd time we did this and like got more idea of like, okay, this is what we need to find out.
So what's the lesson there? What's the lesson there? Doing it?
Is what you were just saying, which is it just never ends. It's like you're always gonna find new questions to ask and new ways to get more information and essentially.
And over time, you're going to be more informed, right?
Right. Yeah.
More informed. Your job as the entrepreneur is to become expert in your space. Remember that. That's your responsibility because, you know, with that comes decision-making responsibilities as well, right? So if you don't know what's going on, guess what? Chances are the decisions you're going to make are going to be poor. We're looking forward to seeing their feedback and their presentations, as well as how they do at our upcoming demo night, where they get to demo their products and ask questions to customers on whether or not they're moving in the right direction. They will be conducting primary and secondary market research, which includes looking at the market, the demographics within the market, customer segments, and the competitive landscape. Stay tuned to see how well they do at demo night. Looking forward to it. Until next time. Welcome back. Last time you got to hear from our entrepreneurs and the details about their ventures. Some of these ventures have more than one founder.
We pride ourselves in being able to rely on each other for our strengths. You know, he's very analytical. He's the type of person that enjoys crunching down the numbers and putting them in order, whereas, you know, that helps me be able to go out and actually extract the information from the people because, you know, I handle that part, you know.
My name is Karen O'Neill, and I am the co-founder of Boston Tutu Dolls.
Karen O'Neill is the youngest member of her cohort and prides herself on venturing into business with her mom.
Surveys, like what's a good amount of questions? Because I have a lot right now.
1. I would say start off with 1. It's been nearly a month since our program started, and over this time, the entrepreneurs have been out in the field conducting primary and secondary market research. Let's see how they're doing.
So I'm discovering that every week there's going to be a challenge, and this week was not so fun because the research aspect of it was really difficult. It was really hard. It's not easy finding statistical information that we need, and we're being asked the hard questions.
The experience has been interesting. I don't think it's been stressful, but it's definitely been challenging. And one of the things I keep telling my friends is I'm glad that I get the constructive feedback immediately. Trish is always on top of things.
We're here at Venture Cafe Kendall for the start of demo night. I'm really excited to see how the entrepreneurs will fare out tonight. They've got quite the lineup. They've got a session where they're demoing their products to the entrepreneurial community here, followed by individual focus group sessions that are tailored to see how well they're doing in terms of the feasibility of their concepts.
We are a Virgin Hair Extensions company, and we've been in existence we opened in 2013 as an e-commerce website only, and then in 2015 we transitioned to a retail store. Me and my daughter wanted to create a business that we would be passionate about. We see people go to work all the time. They're not passionate, they're not happy, they look like they don't want to go home when we're in traffic, they just look like they don't want to go home. And then we fell in love with making people smile by creating products that personalize them. We put their faces on the bottles, so we create bottles and glasses and things of the sort.
In my business concept, there's 2 birds, 1 stone. It's an indoor play space for children ages 2.9 to 12 years old. I'm going to have a variety of toys, activities, encouraging things to do with pretend play, and hopefully enhance children's mobility and balance.
My name is Eunice Johnson, and my business is Eunice's Cuisine. I'm focusing right now on trying to get a restaurant or a food truck. And I'm from Spanish Honduras, Central America. Essentially, Exceptional Minds, we're an event planning agency. We try to create opportunities for amateur rappers and other performers to basically like hone their craft.
And the reason why we do this is because we're rappers ourselves. Starting off, we often found that most events for rappers performing are unorganized, there's lack of communication, and often everybody doesn't even get to perform. And not to mention certain negative raps that hip hop gets within the community.
My question for you is, what are you struggling with right now? What's your business challenge?
It's been over an hour since we got started with our individual focus group sessions, and some of them have already been conducted. The entrepreneurs are hoping that the feedback they received today will further validate that they're moving in the right direction.
You can end up with a wait list in an instant. And the novel concept that would be, one quick press release to Channel 5 and 7, I think you could probably get some good free press out of it as well.
It needs to be short, sweet, and to the point.
Too many words, so we redid it, and it showed my menu.
Finding such unique add-ons to your business could be a main driver of customer acquisition, especially early on.
My biggest takeaways were that some of the things that I kind of had doubt about, and I still have doubt about a little bit, but that I need to do a lot more like social media involving them. And then so one of the gentlemen there, he had a lot of feedback to say about my presentation. We're trying to give the individuals an opportunity to reclaim a sense of self.
Paul Causeway is Nikia's program mentor.
If you have an opportunity, if you have the interest and skills to work with entrepreneurs and small business people, I think it's a fantastic thing to do. The fun thing about working with Nikia is that she has a business. She has suppliers and customers, and she's selling products, and she's looking for ways to make it a stronger business. And it's great fun to work with someone who knows what they're doing and sees an opportunity but isn't quite sure how to get there, and I like helping her.
Very pleased with all the feedback they gave me. Constructive, very constructive, and they feel that I can do this, and there's a market there for me.
Unisys program mentor, Elliot Lafer, weighs in on Unisys' progress to date.
Hi, I'm Elliot Laffer. I'm from SCORE. This is the third time that I've been mentoring in this program. My hope for Eunice, if all goes well, is that she will be the star of this program and win your pitch night, and that she will also ultimately open first her food truck, which is her current plan, and then, if that's successful, a successful restaurant that will not only be good for Eunice, but will be good for her community.
Okay, let's check in now with a few people who served on the focus group panel to see how they really think our entrepreneurs did.
The ones that I saw were very well presented. They had done their homework, and I think it was actually very slick. There was photos. There was lots of research done. It was pretty enjoyable, and I had an opportunity to give some feedback to them, so I enjoyed it a lot.
The presentations I saw were very well prepared. They're all actually very interesting because there were three very separate, different businesses, and I found each presentation to be unique and fascinating. Fascinating. I know it's very difficult for some of the entrepreneurs who were presenting to present. They have never presented before, it seemed like. One of them actually seemed extremely experienced, one of them seemed brand new. And it's wonderful to see people from such different backgrounds giving presentations and putting themselves out there in a way that may have been a little uncomfortable, but wow, they did a great job.
So we were noticeably missing one entrepreneur tonight, Awad Tiame of BornFunny.com, because she decided not to participate in our program. Over the course of conducting her market research, she learned so much about our market that she decided to pivot and pursue a solo career as a touring comedian. While her departure is bittersweet, we certainly wish her all the best. It went well. They got constructive feedback. They really presented really well, so I was really, really proud of that. And we're just looking forward now to see how well they do in terms of taking that feedback and applying it to the next module of the program. Join us next time as they segue into Module 2 of the program, which is tailored around strategy and strategy implementation. Until next time. Welcome back. It's been a week since Demo Night, where our entrepreneurs showcase their products and all of the market research that they've been doing so far to validate their offerings in their marketplaces.
The demo tables, I was very proud of the thought that they put into it. I was looking at, I know Maria, she really thought about how she wanted to showcase what her product was, or is going to be, I should say, and how she came up with the idea just to put some smaller pieces out to really show what that could look like. Charlene and Eunice, everyone came with a lot of energy, really excited to talk about what their work is. And the feedback from the professionals in the industries already, or that have already had startups and are really going through this life that our entrepreneurs are looking to get into, was really helpful. It felt like they were giving them an opportunity to see inside of a world that they're not familiar with yet, and really giving them good feedback about that.
To further equip our entrepreneurs with the insight that they will need to develop solid plans, we've arranged for several key training sessions over the next few weeks. These sessions include training on the legal aspects of small business ownership, accounting, cash flow management, financial management, marketing, and operations planning. Sankita Salvaraja is conducting her training session on legal matters for business owners. She is well known for her work as a practicing attorney for local entrepreneurs.
When you have a company, it protects your personal assets from being attached in the form of lawsuit or so forth. That's the reason why people actually form as a corporation, as an LLC, to protect themselves and their personal assets. So if you have a car, if you have a house, unfortunately it doesn't attach student loan debt, okay? But anything of your own personal value, anyone can sue you personally if you don't have a company to protect yourself, generally, okay?
Let's check in with a few of our entrepreneurs to see how the training sessions are going so far.
You need to pay attention to what's going on with contracts, and you also need to pay attention to the type of departments, because there are a couple of different ones when it comes to taxes and filing.
Well, I learned the difference between all the different businesses, like sole proprietor, LLC, limited liability company, and the corporation. She gave me clarity on copyrights, when and if we need a lawyer, how we can have contracts now. A lot of the things she told us we can do now that I thought we had to wait until we hired like this expensive lawyer, so it was awesome.
So today I wanted to talk about protecting your company legally. So we talked about the SYNC method, which is company, insurance, and contracts. It was very interactive. The students actually asked a lot of relevant questions, which brought out other questions, obviously. We couldn't answer them all, obviously, but it got them thinking at least, and for them to understand where they lay.
Next up is Eric Saunders. Eric is not only a SCORE presenter, but he's also a renowned financial expert.
Stock or shareholders' equity, you could have Nikia's equity. That's it. Just one number, that's her equity.
In providing a cohort with an overview of the 3 financial statements in business, the profit and loss, the cash flow statement, and balance sheet, Eric will be taking the entrepreneurs through the process of how they can effectively utilize these statements to manage the fiscal health of one's venture.
So assets less liabilities.
Accounts receivable is
right. So you performed a service or you sold a mug to Joe Smith. He hasn't paid you yet. So he owes you $5, that's an asset. But the guy you bought the mug, the original mug from, for whatever, $2, you haven't paid for it yet. That's a liability.
Maria and Nikia share their insights on Eric's presentation.
It was definitely necessary, especially for me. That's something that I've struggled with in the past, trying to do a business plan. I just completely stopped for some years. So, I mean, it's a little confusing, but it's definitely something that I'll spend some time working on, getting used to, balancing my own books and balancing my own brain.
So we learned about financial statements. Me using QuickBooks, I found it very beneficial. I had done a class with him before, and I thought it was really great that we could have, it was a little bit more intimate, so we could ask more specific questions and get answers on things that we had to ask. So I thought that was very helpful. And then I learned some stuff about like the cash flow projections and stuff that I didn't know. It was really helpful.
Every small business owner has an interest in the financial operations, and They're always willing to, or trying to learn how to understand the results of the financial transactions and use that information to run their businesses more effectively and efficiently. Hopefully they all got something out of it, a few gems to take along. It was at a high level, you know, not getting into a lot of complicated or complex accounting things. It was just a basic, what is a balance sheet, what is an income statement, and what they mean and how to read them. So I think hopefully they enjoyed it and learned a lot from it.
Today, the entrepreneurs will be undergoing training around operations planning and the principles of effective marketing. We've invited Kara Hendricks, Velcro's company's manager of global digital strategy, to shed some light on digital marketing.
Whether it's a product, an online experience, a retail experience, a service, or any combination. The more touch points you have, the more complicated but necessary as a map becomes. You want to know how your customers are interfacing with you, right? So if we know it's the website, well, that's one journey. How is that even navigating? If it's actually going to an event, if it's going to the food truck, how did they get there? What was their journey before there? How did you obtain them as a customer? You've got to think about that because that's also going to be how you market them. It's going to be where you place those investment or those advertising dollars and so on.
A few of the cohort members weighs in on what they've learned from the session so far.
Well, I thought the customer journey mapping was pretty interesting. Figuring out how customers find you and then utilizing that in your digital marketing strategy, I thought was very helpful.
It's more so just figuring out what your customers are saying and creating content based around their needs and basically any experiences that they've had in the space.
And I took away basically that one of the key things that you can do is create kind of a journey for your customers and in a way where, you know, from start to finish, what is their experience, how they interact with you, how are they getting your product, how are they feeling after it, and actually customizing that journey so that way you can make sure that each customer is getting a personalized experience.
Today we talked about digital marketing and actually specifically talked about customer journey mapping. I think for any business owner, any entrepreneur, diving into the world of digital marketing can be beyond confusing and overwhelming. So we broke it down. We talked about social media. We talked about website. We talked about the basics, about getting your own domain name. We talked about content strategy and how important that is, and how it's actually not as hard as you may think. That right now there's really great things going on to share, whether it's your business journey or if you have customers and sharing about your different offerings and products.
So we've come to the end of segment 3. The entrepreneurs have spent the last month and a half in several training workshops that are tailored to help them develop the insight necessary for them to develop solid business models. Coming up in segment 4, we will be following the progress that the entrepreneurs make along the lines of actually developing those plans. I'm certainly looking forward to it. Until next time. So we're back at the Roxborough Innovation Center for the start of Module 2 of our program. Module 2 is centered around strategy and strategy implementation work that the entrepreneurs will be taking on to decipher exactly how they plan to make money. So we talked about, the importance of strategic planning, the process in and of itself, envisioning a vision, identifying top goals for the venture, and then, indicating those steps that you're going to be taking, the ones that are most important for you to take. To be able to get up and running with that plan. Today's session will be centered around the review of each of our cohorts' individual strategic plans that they have already begun to develop for their ventures. This is to ensure that whatever they're planning, they can effectively carry out.
So it's two things. It's the package, and I want to get into companies, whether it's a wedding and they want 80 of my favorite purses with the glasses, or it's a company and they want to put sponsorship items in the bags at a convention or something.
So what I hear you saying is your top goals are first and foremost to package your products,
yes,
right? Where you have a set of items that you're going to market as a package, and then from that you're going to be targeting the B2B market, business to business market.
I would like to do that.
Okay.
I believe putting their faces on our stuff. They sponsorship. They you go into these conventions or these events, or they throw events for their own employees, and if they can have my stuff with their face on it and their sponsor stuff in the bags or the giveaways for making the companies pay for it.
Okay.
And they use it for marketing and sponsorship. I offer a marketing gift thing that they can gift to someone.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And I also want to increase in customers.
Okay.
So
Well, I
it's-
mean,
okay.
one could argue that if you're tapping into a new segment, your goal would be to increase your numbers, right? Because if you're tapping into, the B2B market, as you're saying, that is going to translate hopefully into more customers for you, more businesses, right? So you can have those bigger contracts to help you offset your expenses. Yes, okay. All right, so that's great. So help me to understand what your plan will be. So year one.
I need to legalize my business, insurance, website, everything, get it all up and running, formatted correctly. I'm not there yet.
Now the entrepreneurs are beginning the hands-on exercise of building a solid financial model. They will be working on their initial and ongoing operating costs, revenue, pricing, and profitability models, and doing some scenario analysis work.
Not including the salary that we had before, but our total required funds was $55,100. Yep. And
What did that consist of?
that consisted of, let me go up. It consisted of equipment, vehicle, pre-opening salaries and wages for front desk, security, and sound, inventory,
Venue rentals.
legal accounting fees, which I kind of guessed at.
Okay.
Then the operating capital, including salaries and wages, I have first year 104,000.
Okay.
And that's for 3 people, 3 part-timers and myself.
Required to start would be $635,500. Owner's equity, I put $50,000 for me. Investors, which would be my friends, maybe $30,000. The rest would have to come from a commercial loan, really $550,000, and I put $5,000 in credit.
A few of the cohort members weigh in on the financial modeling sessions.
I got a little bit more insight today, which was helpful. I felt like I was a little bit kind of all over the place, but it's been helpful today.
It's a tenuous process, one where we have to look at, how much we're gonna get paid, what's it gonna take to run the business, what's it gonna take to keep the business fiscally healthy.
So we've come to the end of our program, and boy, has it been a grueling 12 weeks for entrepreneurs. We've seen them work steadfastly to develop a solid business model and consequently a solid business plan. What's unique about this particular offering is that they're all at different phases of doing just that. So what we decided to do is to develop individual project plans from this point on that will help the entrepreneurs pull together a business plan that they can present in time for a pitch night in August. We will be following the entrepreneurs over this leg of the work that they have to do to ensure that they all are properly prepared for pitch night. Here are some highlights from the last pitch night event at the Roxbury Innovation Center. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.